Yes, reggae fans, this is Fully Full Word, and you're tuning in to the top ranking podcast sound, best sound in the world, so don't disappoint me.
All right, you're tuned in to the top ranking reggae podcast. It's the show where you get to hear the stories behind the songs. My name is Glenn Holdaway, and I'll be your host. Today we are joined by a giant in the Cali reggae scene, producer and bass player Nick Loporchio, aka PORCH. PORCH made his entrance into the world of reggae back in 2013 when he co-founded the band Iya Terra, a band that would quickly skyrocket to the forefront of the American reggae scene. Throughout their 10 years as a group, they would go on to tour all around the globe and achieve the highest levels of reggae rock stardom. In fact, Iya Terra's Spotify account still has well over 500,000 monthly listeners at the time of this recording, with their most popular song sitting at over 17 million streams, demonstrating the lasting impact that their music has had. Iya Terra disbanded at the end of 2023, but that was just one chapter in PORCH's prolific career. 2024 has already been a very busy year for him, as he has been involved in numerous projects, including becoming the touring bassist for Grammy-nominated artist Matisyahu, whom he has now toured all over the country with. PORCH has also been very busy releasing tons of his own music. PORCH's music is high-energy dubstep that will send you to another planet when the bass drops. You should all especially be sure to check out the music video for his song Pela Pela on YouTube, as you might just see a familiar face in the mix. On top of everything else he is doing, PORCH has also been pumping out releases under his own production company, Aspekt Mafia, a duo he co-founded alongside Iya Terra keyboardist and longtime friend Luis Tovar. Luis also stopped by and guested on Top Rankin' Reggae a few months back, so if you're interested in hearing his story as well, be sure to check that out too. So, with all that being said, I think it's time. Without further ado, I bring to you my interview with PORCH. All right, dude, you ready?
Ready.
Cool, man. All right, everybody, we're here today with Nick Loporchio, a.k.a. PORCH.
How's it going, everybody?
Dude, how's it going with you, man?
Pretty well, man.
Yeah, dude. I think the last time I saw you had just gone on tour with Matisyahu, and now you're back in town. I think that was like a month or two. You were on the road,
We're
right?
at One Love. Yeah, we did a little.
Yeah, that's right.
Promo,
yeah, dude.
Promo
yeah.
video. But he had the little mic thing on the spot.
Yeah, that's right, man.
Yeah. No, it was a big learning experience. It was a epic tour for sure.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you, how does that compare to other tours you've done in the past? Because I think this may have been one of your first tours where you were just a bass player and you weren't wearing a million other different hats. You know?
It was really cool in that sense, man. It was always how I'd imagined a job. If I don't know, if you were a quote unquote hired gun.
Yeah.
Would go I just show up to sound check every day that's it, and then just be at the show. But that was actually never a thing with I because there was always merch to be loaded in, or I mean Dave did a great job of loading it in, but there'd always just be other stuff, meet and greets for sure every day. There was never more than a chunk of an hour or two where you couldn't be. But with this, I could just show up a little bit, an hour or two out of the day, and that was it.
Yeah, dude, it's nice sometimes, man. You show up, play your bass, go chill on the bus, eat some food, not
have to worry about anything, any of those money problems or logistical problems, or
Yeah, dude, did you have a favorite moment or stop on the tour? What were some of the highlights?
Probably the best one was Stubbs.
Yeah.
Playing Stubbs was so cool.
Especially with Matisyahu. I mean, that's
there's so many people that come to those shows at Stubbs, because he's played a few epic ones there, and that was, I think, the biggest one, or one of the biggest ones. But that was just so special to play there, because I've never played there ever.
Yeah, same.
So it's a really cool spot.
I heard the barbecue there is pretty fire.
Oh, I heard that. I didn't try it. Yeah, I only eat fish, but I know. Really wanted to, but maybe one day.
Yeah, man.
But Stubbs was definitely a really great one. And there was actually this private party we played in Vegas. So actually
I heard about that. Yeah.
So the first week, actually, it was so crazy, the whole thing, dude. Like the first week, Modest, third night in Janus. And I think it's something with the stage too, dude. I kind of think there's a curse on the Janus stage because we played there with Steel Pulse and
this is Janus live in Florida, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So one of my favorite venues ever. And Modest, he fell off stage there. He fell on the stage. But Amlok from Steel Pulse, he fell off that stage and then broke his bass and really hurt himself. So that was like the last few times I played there. There's like something going on with people falling on that stage. I don't know why, but Modest fell. Gnarly, and so he's in a wheelchair for like the first few weeks.
So it was like a bad fall.
Maybe half of it. Yeah, it was pretty bad. Like he retore because he had like a few pins in his knee already from like a basketball accident.
Oh, shoot.
And so he kind of like retore his meniscus. Like he went to a doctor. So we did that. And then the next day, so we had 2 days. I think we flew into Nashville, had 2 days of rehearsal, 5 shows. And then on the last show, he tore that.
Oh, man.
And then instead of like having an off day, we had a private party for like a rabbi. It was like a pretty big deal. He was like, in Vegas. So like the night after the injury, we had to like get on this airplane with him. And like, it was,
God, man.
it was a trek, man. Like, and he went to go get an MRI in Vegas and they're like, yeah, you tore your meniscus.
Oh,
and it's just like, oh man.
Did he finish the show after he like tripped?
Oh dude. Yeah. He's a champion, dude. He honestly, he endured a lot of pain. And then the next week, Aaron, the guitar player, Aaron Dugan, also, I don't know if you know Aaron Dugan.
No.
He was the original Matisyahu guitar player from like the Live at Stubbs 1 days.
Wow.
And he's like such a jazz fanatic, and he's one of the best musicians I've ever played with. Like
wow.
He's taught me so much in that short amount of time. Like it's like when you get thrown in the fire with like really good players.
Yeah.
But like Aaron's just like, he don't beat around the bush about it because he knows how he wants it to sound. Like he's played with Modest he's like been the one consistent. He's had so many bands, which has also been a cool thing because like having to study all the different time periods of Modest, and then I was like, all right, now how do I want to do it? You know, like
because his music's evolved a lot. Like now I feel like it's kind of taken on more of like a jam band approach. Mm-hmm. Would you say?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Like his favorite band is Fish.
Like, nice.
So I think he might be following them right now, or they're starting a tour. But his plan was after this tour was he was going to get an RV and follow them. But even in high school, he dropped out of high school, I think at 16 or 17, and followed Fish for like a year or two. Yeah.
Whoa.
So he's like a huge Fish head.
Dang, dude, I never knew that about him.
And dude, there's some clips from them at Bonnaroo with this band. If you ever watch some Matisyahu, like that band, that first, like the Dub Trio band is sick. Don't get me wrong. I love that. But there's like some crazy jam jazz moments that are just like freaking insane. Like that first band. So he had another, after Dub Trio, he had a whole nother band and they were all really good too.
Yeah.
And they were all like Berkeley musicians.
So like with Modest, like how much freedom does he like give his bands? Like how planned out is the set or like the songs? Is it just like super open? Like how exactly does he like?
Yeah, he's pretty like he's pretty open. Like we'll be at sound check and it'd be like, oh, we want to throw in any new songs? But like it's pretty spontaneous. Like, and I think he now likes it that way. I think at first, the first few shows, he was like, all right, we're gonna have a set list. But by the second or third week, it was just like the TM's just like, oh, we're just waiting on the set list and then we can go.
Yeah.
You know, and I think he like kind of thrives on that spontaneity, but I think there's like a definite balance in that because like there's what I learned from that, because the biggest difference with Iya Terra and Matisyahu was it was like everything was orchestrated and we knew every moment that was going to happen with Iya Terra, and with Matisyahu you have no fucking idea what's going to happen. Like, and that was like really scary, but it helps you. Like there was like, I think of there's so much growth that happened because of taking those scary jumps,
Absolutely,
and
man.
trying new things and stuff. And sometimes you end up with awesome stuff happening. You know? But it kind of makes me sad to think like, oh, we never got to do that live with Iya, but it was a different vibe, I guess, because there's a very fine line in being like improv and then not sounding like you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Like, it's a very fine line.
Yeah. Cause there's like, on the flip side, sometimes like there's moments when it like hits and it's like incredible. Then there's moments when you're like searching, you're like, where is this going to go? Like, what the heck? You know, it's
or
like,
it sounds forced or it's like, or there's moments where, there's definitely moments where this person wants that jam to happen and then somebody's just not feeling it that night. And then it's like, you're trying to like kick the tired pony or whatever. And it's just like, I don't know.
Yeah.
And that was the balance with that modest thing, because like Aaron 90% of the time always wants to go jam,
Yeah.
And then Casey was down for whatever. Really, there's some people that wanted that. Like Dustin didn't like it sometimes, and it was like time and place, But it was like we all came and made it that, at least that instance of it, what it was. And I think it was a good balance. But because the reggae is not so much about, I guess, like it's not the opposite. It's kind of the same and the opposite of jam. It's like a meditative groove that you can keep going on for an unlimited amount of time, maybe. But you're not like, I don't know, there's similarities and differences.
I see what you mean. Where like, it's like, for instance, like with reggae, like you might be playing like like real rock or something where it's like a 2-chord vamp and it kind of go on indefinitely. But at the same time, like within that structure, like you have no idea where it might take you, if you really like jam it out or like what kind of energy or vibe might come into it. Like
it's not going anywhere harmonically just there, but you could, I guess, take it over that rhythm, but there's similarities and differences, but I think that was like my favorite part about it was just, and sometimes my least favorite part about it. It's funny because it's like you get all that freedom. There was a lot of freedom. Like Modest did give everybody a lot of freedom, which was really awesome, So, but you got to do the right thing with that freedom, and then make everybody happy too with it, I guess, because everybody wants different things to happen when anything can happen.
Yeah. Well, that's a cool experience, man. And I love the comparison, that you made between that and Iya. Like on one hand of like, with Iya, you were kind of like, you had a lot of responsibility and a bunch of other things. Whereas this, you were like just a bass player. And then also the flip side musically where like Iya is like very structured and like, exactly what you're going to do when you go on stage, where this is like almost the opposite in that sense too, where it's like anything can happen and you don't know what to expect. So this must have been a really interesting experience for you to have, after like 10 years of like touring, with Iya Terra. Like
it was definitely a surreal thing for sure. And then the timing of it was really weird, as because the whole terrorist attacks on October 7th.
Yeah.
And really interestingly enough, the terrorist attacks in Israel, at that festival that happened, that was the same. I want to say it was the same day as Reggae Rise Up.
Whoa!
And that was the day that Iya Terra called it quits, and also the same day, Modest asked me to play for him.
Wow!
He asked me a few hours before the band had that talk.
Yeah.
But and at the same time in Israel, that was happening. Same day.
Wow!
So it was really, I don't. There's might not be any comparison to be drawn other than that, but I just think it's really coincidental, because what that became obviously on tour was there was mass protests and crazy stuff happening at those shows every night,
wow,
we had smoke bombs thrown into one of the venues. Yeah, it was crazy. They had to call a 30-40 riot. There was just a brick wall of riot police in front of some of the venues.
Shit,
it was
man.
crazy, dude.
Yeah, I had no idea you guys were dealing with all that on top of everything else. As if touring wasn't already stressful enough sometimes, Yeah, that's some crazy shit.
At least I only had to worry about playing bass. I don't think I could have worried about anything else other than that, Yeah.
Yeah, man. Well, I'm glad you're back safely and had all these experiences, dude. And like, I know you've been busy since you got home too, working on like a million projects as well. Like, what are some of the things you've been up to?
Dude, really excited about, we finished the Shakaman EP and then put that out.
The EP.
The EP.
Yeah. Not just any EP, the EP.
The EP.
Yeah.
Certified with the lean.
I comment on that. I'm like, yeah, there couldn't have been any other album cover than that, dude.
I'm so happy that happened.
Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of iconic records have hit that lean. But
yeah.
Dude, yeah, Shaka's such a versatile, amazing, talented cat. So that was we have a lot more music. Hopefully that will see the light of day soon. But yeah, that was a good one. And right now, Silos from Tribal Seeds, his first drummer.
Yep, and Sublime with Rome.
Yeah. So yeah, most recently when I got home, we went actually on Cinco de Mayo. I think we went there and actually got the tracks from him. But
oh wow,
we went to his house and we were just talking ideas on what to do with. He's got all these drum tracks, and we're like, oh, let's make a drum pack out of it.
Is this for Shakaman's EP?
No, this is for a totally different thing.
Oh, okay.
So actually, on that note, to connect that background track was Silos.
Oh, sick. So he played on the EP?
That was the one track. Yeah,
nice.
We got some tracks from him and we built it around that track. But since then, he's like far upgraded his whole setup and like his mics. They're sounding so good now. So he's got like 10, 20 new tracks and basically been editing those, making a drum sample pack.
Oh, sick.
With Luis. And pretty stoked about that. That's taken a lot of time recently. I've been
what kind of beats can we expect to hear on that sample pack? Like what kind of...
We're like... Silos has all different stuff, but I mean, I think for this one, because he's got like hip hop tracks and stuff and other stuff. He's got like Wu-Tang songs and other things he's covered. He's got like this whole archive of all these tracks.
Oh, sick.
So we're just going to do like reggae, like Silos reggae right now, like one drop rockers, steppers, and then get like really good, like one shots, just get like a basic good sample pack and then like maybe do other ones in the future. I don't want to take on too much in it. It's like already like with like the 10 tracks maybe we have like probably enough, and he's got like more we haven't even sifted through, so it's like, and then plus all the other stuff we didn't even take, like, so he's got so much, and also Amlok too.
Oh, nice.
So when we were in Jamaica,
and for those who don't know, Amlok is the bass player of Steel Pulse.
Yeah. We were there not this last year, the year before. We got this sick Airbnb. It was like on the beach in Ocho Rios.
Dang.
And we set the studio up in there and got a bunch of sick samples. And I don't know, I didn't do anything with them for like a year, and then just recently started editing them all and got them. Yeah, that sample pack's like pretty much done, and I've sent it to a few people and friends to test it out, and everybody's thought it was dope so far. So just got to figure out when to put that out. It's his vocals. It's not even bass. It's like him, like all these vocals, so many vocals.
Like ad-libs or
just
like...
ad-libs, like, but like also loops, like 8-bar loops, like to use. And a lot of people in dubstep love like Jamaican, like Rasta.
Yeah, of course,
stuff.
Man.
And there's not that much of it. So I was like, I'm like, we should do this. Cause he's been talking about doing sample packs. And I was like, here's one idea, but also I think we should do a bass one too. But he wanted to do that one.
Yeah.
He's more into like the public speaking and the message stuff. He loves to talk.
Didn't he open up, the Forward Bound.
Yeah,
that's him in the beginning of that song, right? Yeah.
he's got the opening, and then he's got that when the
interlude, right?
Yeah, he's got like the verse too.
Yeah.
He killed that one. But yeah, so that's going to be good. Hopefully that'll come out, I think, in maybe fall or something.
That's sick. Yeah, I can't wait to hear that, man.
And then we want to put out we have this idea for like a worldwide rhythm. So like, have had this really cool rhythm that me and Lou made, and we have a few versions already. Like we have one with Shakaman and Jimmy Rivas from Chile.
Oh, sick.
And do you know Jimmy?
No,
Jimmy?
I don't.
He Jimmy.
Jimmy.
Jimmy. No, if you don't know Jimmy Rivas, go check out Jimmy Rivas. He's super good singer. Very good singer. And also we have a Kanakaman one. That's going to be really cool.
Hawaii?
From Hawaii, yeah.
Dang.
Kapu System, a version from him. And I think there's one other one. We want to get a few. We want to try to get a version from like almost every version in the world. And the only one that I having trouble coming up with is like Asia right now. I know there's like a cracking Japanese reggae scene, but.
Yeah, there is. I actually know some people in Japan. Maybe I can.
Yeah, if you have a sick MC.
We'll talk.
Yeah, for sure. And also the Philippines. There's like a huge. Dude, honestly, I see like more comments and like reposts and covers from like the Philippines from Iya Terra sometimes.
Wow.
It's crazy, dude. Like there's a huge following there. I don't know how or why, but if you look at the numbers, it's like one of the top countries too. I don't know.
That's sick, man.
Yeah.
That must be so crazy to like see like someone from another country like covering one of your songs, you know, like that must be a really cool feeling.
Pretty special, man.
Dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, to know that your music has made like such an impact like that.
It's the best feeling, you know. That's like one of the biggest. That's like the ultimate goal. Like I don't really think. Yeah, like making it is not a term. Like that's not the right term. But like if like life fulfillments, you know, like there's like certain fulfillments in life that we all have. Like as basic humans, we all have some of the same ones, and we have some different ones, you know. And like I think that was definitely one of them, is to like have music that touched people across the world, you know?
Yeah, man, that's a beautiful thing. And dude, I can't wait to see what you end up doing with the worldwide rhythm. The worldwide rhythm. And also all these sample packs, dude. I'm probably going to have to, I'll
definitely send over the Omlock one.
Yeah, dude.
And, I'll send you, we have some of the Silos ones too. I'll send you that over because, I'd love to see what you, if you like want to test it or just listen to it or whatever. Yeah. Just let me know what you think.
Dude, like,
cause it's like different. Like me and Luis like love the Roots style. And like, we were like, do we want this to sound like how we want it? No, we want it to sound how Silos's drums sound, you know? Mm-hmm. So like in his drums sound like more like Cali reggae, but still like rootsy, but like different kind of snare, like more like a metal snare, like not so much more ringy snare, you know, like not so muted everywhere, which is fine. But,
his sound is like iconic though, man.
Yeah,
like all the
for
early
sure.
Tribal Seed stuff that he played on. Like I'm sure people are going to like love that sound.
There's a lot of good stuff in there. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, dude, I'm really excited to hear all that. And also like, dude, of course, we want to touch on your own music, the PORCH music, you know, that you've been putting out. You've been putting out so many singles, dude. And like, I'm really excited to see what this is all going to culminate to.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
I don't even know what it's culminating to.
Yeah, I was going to ask, like, what's your vision for this project and, like, all the music you've been making? And
I still think I'm still finding that out as it comes on, because, like, it's always just been, like, an outlet for, like, what side project music. Like, I just want it to be a place where I can put out what I'm feeling at the time, you know?
Yeah.
Like, so that's going to be ever-changing, you know? Like, so I think... Like lately I've just wanted to put out singles, and I'm just going to keep putting out singles until like, I'm like, all right, it makes sense to make an album.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Because I've seen a lot better feedback that way. I feel like it's more to the point right now. Like an album doesn't make sense to me at the moment. I just want to do a bunch of singles. I don't know why, but that's just what I've been doing. And it feels good, you know? And it's really, it helps you see what people like. And what people not maybe don't like, but just like pay less attention to. But and like more focused energy, you know?
Yeah, because it's like
I think any newer artist would benefit from that, you know? Like if nobody's going to listen to a 10-track album from like a new artist. I don't know. Like very rarely would you like... Lately I've just noticed like everything is like attention span is like you want people to pay attention to everything. So it's like that's very hard. People don't have that attention span.
Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting too. Because, I guess I'm thinking about like your prior releases. Like, obviously with Iya, you guys put out a lot of albums. And now like versus the new approach of like singles and stuff like that. And I guess the musical landscape has changed a lot over the past 10 years too, like what are some things that you've kind of like noticed?
Yeah. Even over the last few years.
Yeah.
Like since COVID,
like
I feel like, even like into that, like back when even Iya started, there was like a CD was still a real thing, like that you wanted to have and put in your car. Like that's not the case anymore. Like cars don't even come with CD players anymore. Like, they come with freaking computer screens.
Dude, I didn't even think about that, man. Yeah, people like handing you your CDs. Like, no one's handed me a CD in a long time.
Dude, that's one of the biggest things I can attribute. Like there was some things with Iya Terra we did right, and that was definitely one, is just passing a bunch of CDs out to people. Like people feel like they were already invested in something, like and they didn't have to do anything. They're like, I'm already like part of this, and I have like an album with like lyrics and like this thing, now it's like you can just go on the internet and click anything, dude. Like, like I was saying, focused attention. Like if you're at least like putting a CD in and you're like, I'm going to listen to this, you can't listen to anything else on your thing unless you go out of the thing or you take the CD out.
You gotta like fumble with another CD. Like,
I think people just have like a lot of people, and that's honestly like, this time being home away from tour, I think has been so good, is like being able to really figure out how to focus my attention, because I feel like when you're on tour all the time, it's hard to be in one place. Like it's like some people have a hard time being alone, like, out of a relationship, this, that. Like for me, I never really had this problem until I think, not problem, but I guess you get so used to always being on the go. I felt like that was like something that, was fueling like my life. I don't know. In a sense, is like, I always had something somewhere I was going.
Yeah. And man. Dude, I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah. It's almost like something to like look forward to, where it's like, oh yeah, I know, like I'm going to be here next and then here next. Then like all of a sudden when you're home, it's like, whoa, it's like a vacuum of just like,
infinite possibilities.
Dude.
So that's been something interesting to explore. It's been good, like to have that back,
Dude, that kind of, when you said like a vacuum of infinite it kind of reminds me of like what you were saying earlier about Matisyahu. Like you walk on stage, you're like, what's going to happen? It's just like this huge openness. It's like there's opportunity here, but also it's kind of like intimidating and daunting, of like,
that's why I think, a lot of people, not a lot of people, some people like to work for themselves because they like that pressure, and then some people don't like that pressure. And I think there's people that don't like to be self-employed and would rather just work for someone else.
I think it's like that they need like the structure.
Yeah, I think so. Maybe so, or I don't know. Maybe some people just didn't know any other, like we're all like raised to know, to like think certain things. Maybe, I don't know. My dad owns a business, so like I was maybe more prone to thinking that way. I don't know,
Yeah,
like
my dad owns his own business too. Maybe that's like something.
I think so.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Because like I never wanted to like subscribe to just like have a job that I just clocked into 9 to 5. Like, I just guess I wanted to be how would you say, like decide my own destiny, like,
yeah. Like with that feeling of, I guess you said about like being on tour all the time and constantly being on the go and then being home for extended periods of time. Like what are some things you do to kind of reconcile those feelings, or how do you deal with that?
Having some structure in some things, like a workout routine for sure, like a sleep schedule.
Oh man.
things I think we take for granted, like that, and then also just having things to look forward to, like that you enjoy to do, and like meaningful work, like knowing that, that time's coming. So, take some time to myself to do nothing for a week or something or whatever. But yeah, having meaningful work in the end, I think is like what really makes life like joyful, like, you know?
Yeah.
Like something that gives us purpose, you know?
Yeah.
In whatever moment that might be, you know? It can always change, you know? And that's something we got to remember.
Yeah. And that makes sense, man. And I can see that you definitely been putting in a lot of work on a lot of different things. So yeah, I could see how, yeah, that would, you know, keep you feeling busy and inspired during like your downtime.
Yeah. Also like to do like, well, since COVID really, when COVID happened, there was like nothing going on. So it didn't even feel right to like, after a certain amount of time, like definitely worked on a lot of music. And then after like 8 months or 9 months, I was like, didn't even feel right to like be doing this right now. Cause I was like, what am I doing? So I was like, went, and my dad's like, you should get your contractor's license. It's a great time. Cause like, I always knew how to like knew plumbing from the time I was like a little kid. So got my contractor's license over COVID. So that was cool. So I've been doing some plumbing too.
Yeah, dude.
So that's really been nice to do that. Yeah.
Yeah, man. I was going to ask you about that too. Cause like, yeah, I never even knew that you did all that stuff until recently. So that makes sense that you kind of like picked that up or like started pursuing it more during COVID.
Yeah.
But
had the time for sure. A lot of time.
Yeah.
As we honest.
Yeah,
So like going crazy at moments. So.
Yeah, man. Well, dude, I'm glad you kind of like brought up, you know, your dad and like some of the other things that you do. Cause, yeah, I feel like, you know, we've gotten to know each other pretty well over the past like 9 years, but like, I feel like you're someone who's lived like a lot of different lives, and there's so many things I've wanted to ask you about, like, you know, your upbringing and like, you know, what you were like as a kid and like the things you were interested in, because I feel like a lot of people I know are like they're either into like science or they're into athletics or they're into music, but I feel like, you know, or whatever, but I feel like you're someone who's like done all of those things, like all like really
like,
well.
I love
too.
all of those.
Like, yeah, like you've done like so many different things.
That is kind of funny. You're right.
Yeah.
So yeah, I did backstory. Well, from when I was a kid, yeah, like I did a lot of sports growing up. I always played baseball, football, basketball. And then once in high school, I just played football.
Yeah.
And then I started powerlifting too. Cause I guess it was just naturally strong even from a young age. So I was like, had a knack for that. So I started doing that in high school and competing in that. And, then went to UCLA, did powerlifting there and graduated, did my science part of it. I guess, so I got my sports part, and then I didn't really kept doing powerlifting, graduated, with a molecular biology degree.
Yeah, there. I remember seeing pictures of you from that. You were like giant, dude.
I was a giant.
Yeah.
Dude. I was a freaking giant. Yeah.
It's crazy.
I was like 270, I think.
Oh my God,
biggest.
Dude.
Yeah. I'm like 180 now, but yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it was like
100
seems like a
pounds
whole
of like
lifetime
muscle,
ago.
dude. Like,
yeah. I mean, that definitely had some fat, but I was like pretty thick. I wasn't like that fat. I was pretty
dude.
just built. Yeah.
That's crazy.
But that ultimately, that kind of was the downfall of the athleticism, was like the way back into music. Cause like, well, music was even from like the time I was like 8 or 9, I was like in a handbell choir.
Handbell choir?
Yeah, I was in a handbell
what
choir.
The heck? That was your first instrument?
That was my first instrument. So I started playing handbells in 6th grade.
Wait, what is a handbell?
You know what a handbell is?
Wait, is that like the Christmas?
These bronze bells, and they can like have ones that are probably like 2 inches, and then the biggest ones are probably like
and everyone kind of like plays their own
they're
part.
all a note on the piano. Yeah, so that was like how I first learned how to play music, and it was like probably 10 or 15 people in a group, and you all had 2 to 4, maybe 5 bells. You know?
Oh, what the heck?
Yeah.
That's so funny, dude, because it tripped me out when Luis said his first instrument was the glockenspiel.
It's not far off, dude. It
Yeah.
makes sense.
That was everyone in Iya Terra playing the bells, dude. Like,
that's so funny. I'm gonna ask.
How did you get into a
that.
handbell choir?
Dude,
like,
my 6th grade teacher, shout out Mr. Roland. He's like the coolest teacher I ever had, man. Like still to this day, I still see him. My mom works at the junior high there.
Oh,
and,
wow.
He's a 6th grade teacher still. He's never been married, like literally teaches music like 4 or 5 days a week. Like he bought these bells when he was in his 20s. They're like probably 30 years ago, and just basically spent his life savings on these bells. Like they're super expensive, and like just taught Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, like every day. Like for the last 25 years, like we went on tours and like around the country and stuff. Like it was crazy. Like it was amazing. Like in retrospect, like I didn't really think anything of like it in sixth grade, but like, and I still, it was like kind of whatever, but just what he did for his kids, that was like what I marvel at now. Like is like, wow, like that is just not something you ever see. And like, that's, if all educators were like that, like our school would be so much different, you know? And it's like, so big ups to Mr. Roland. And that year I got a guitar too. So I won a guitar. Oh, wow. In an auction. And then I wanted to start playing guitar that year too. So yeah, just kind of like self-taught myself that stuff, and it went hand in hand. And then started a bunch of bands in junior high and high school and stuff. And
like, what kind of music were you into at the time?
I really loved like Led Zeppelin, Pink Floyd, the Beatles, like all the great classic rock, Jimi Hendrix, Aerosmith.
Yep. That's what I was into in middle school too. Like super, like loved classic rock. Dude, and like hard rock and stuff. Like
even to this day, I'll still listen to all that stuff. It's so good, you know. And then like eventually maybe more towards 8th grade, like started like more Metallica or Pantera, like maybe a little bit heavier stuff. And then,
the natural evolution.
The evolution of the heaviness, you know, and started listening to heavier and heavier metal. Listened to a lot of like death metal in high school and stuff, I guess, you know. And then eventually, I think when I was 15 going on 16, I don't remember who gave it to me. I want to say it's my friend Cam, who I'm going to hang out with later tonight. But I was in my first band with Cam, and he started taking me to like some shows before I could drive. So I was like 15, he was 16, and we were going to like Zen Robbie opening for Iration, or like, you know, in like 2005 or 6. Or like, I remember we saw Reb open for Soja at the House of Blues once in like 2006. And then just all like the smaller reggae shows at that time, you know? And like, I didn't really know anything. Like Cam knew more. He liked Pepper at that time. And like, I really loved, what was one I really loved? B Foundation.
Oh yeah.
I really loved, and Tomorrow's Bad Seeds. I really liked Tomorrow's Bad Seeds. Yeah. They were probably like my favorite at that time.
Yeah. Early Prayer probably like just come out. It's such a banger. Like.
Such a banger. And so like that was stuff I started listening to, and I was like, at that time I was like, this is really good. And then.
So that was like your gateway into reggae kind of was like going to those shows and seeing it live.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was like something really tangible and something happening around us where I was like, wow, this is actually like a music scene happening around us.
Yep.
It's like amazing. You know? And we actually booked, like somehow my friend Cam, dude, he could do anything. Like he can get anything done. And he booked the B Foundation when we were in high school. Like we were like 15 or 16, and they played it like our talent show.
What?
Like it was crazy. Or no, it wasn't a talent show. It was like, I don't remember what it was. It was like not a talent show. It was like a battle of the bands, and then I don't freaking remember. But Cam booked them. They played it at our junior high. It was pretty awesome.
Wow, man!
And that was like back in. So I was in 9th grade. So that was 2006.
Where were you going to high school and middle school?
In Acton.
Like in Acton. Okay.
Yeah. So they came.
So they made the mission
they
out
went
there,
all the way
dude.
to Acton,
wow,
dude. It was crazy.
That's sick.
Yeah.
Were you guys like your band what was your band called, by the way? Like,
oh, in high school?
Yeah.
It was called a Sweet Intoxication.
Sweet Intoxication. Yeah. What kind of music
it was
were
like
you guys
rock
playing?
Music.
Rock, okay.
Yeah. We were actually really sick. We had a girl singer. She actually recently, she just passed away.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah. But, she was super talented. She was
Is her music dad still out there somewhere on the internet?
It's not out on the internet. This was like before like Spotify or anything we put out any of that. I have like a few recordings, like actual good recordings, because her dad had the whole whole really amazing studio in their house.
Wow.
Like he was the session drummer for Earth, Wind and Fire.
What?
Like,
Dude, what?
Dude, and sad enough, he passed away like a year before she passed away.
Oh, man.
This is probably like 3 or 4 years ago. His name's Mark Aletke, and R.I.P. And he was like our first like grandfather of music. Like,
yeah, dude.
You know, growing up there around Mark, and then his son, Ariada's brother, Buster, he was like a freaking amazing bass player, and he played in a band called the Messies at the time, and they were like a pop punk band in LA that they were really promising.
Wow.
They kind of self-destructed, but their dad, Mark, he had like an amazing, you know, setup, like recording studio, and you know, that was like where we actually like sat down and like we're like, all right, this is where we're gonna make songs, record songs. Like,
yeah,
he helped us a lot, obviously, but like, yeah, getting to sit there, and then he was the airline pilot, and that's how he passed away. He actually passed away in a plane crash.
Whoa, dude.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
Damn, that's fucking crazy, dude.
Yeah.
But what a mentor, man. And yeah, it sounds like you had a lot of great like musical influences early on, like from your first teacher, Mr. Rowland, to
Rowland and Mark.
Like Mark. Yeah, dude.
Yeah. And another one, I think that probably the one that fuels my love for like producing and the DAW, like actually probably my first mentor, like musically at all. It's funny. The year we got our instruments, like I got my guitar, my best friend Timmy Fitzpatrick got drums, and his brother Brian this was like the first band I was ever in, but we were like 10 years old. We never did anything. We just made noise. But their dad, Jim, they lived 2 doors down from me, and their dad, Jim, he's the mixing and post-production engineer on American Dad and Family Guy.
Dude, what the heck?
So he gave me like this cracked version of like Acid Pro when I was like 9 years old, 10 years old. And I was like making beats on like, you know, Acid Pro. Is like, thought it was the coolest shit ever. Like, it was like
crazy,
super
man.
lame beats, but it was so much fun, you know?
Yeah, dude, but who would have thought like all these like heavy dudes living in Acton, man?
I know, yeah.
That's crazy.
Just like heavy hitters. So
yeah,
but Jim was a cool guy, and just had a lot of fun with him, and that was I don't know, just all different kinds of influences from the handbells to that.
Yeah.
You know, so pretty eclectic. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. So yeah, dude. So basically, yeah, like getting back to when you graduate high school, go to UCLA, you're a power lifter. I think you studied like microbiology,
molecular cellular,
biology.
but basically, yeah, microbiology is pretty close. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
So
all the same.
were you planning to like be a scientist? Like,
yeah, I always I just loved science, and math was like my knack for that. And I wanted to do something, and like, I originally thought maybe get like a physical therapy license or something, because I just love like athletics and like lifting, and like thought maybe helping athletes or something.
Yeah.
You know? Like, or maybe chiropractor, but then I was like, chiropractor's a steep road, you know, like it's a, you know, it's like going to med school almost, you know? So I thought maybe be a doctor, but I was like, I don't know. I'm not cut out. I don't think I'm cut out for that much, you know, more school.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know? I think the debt really daunted me of that. So it was like, I don't want to go to any more school. Like maybe I could do 2 more years at like physical therapy school, or maybe be a massage therapist or something, you know, and just have that background. But I really just wanted to like, help people in any capacity, you know, like that. And I think after I got hurt, cause I herniated, 2 discs, and then, tore my hip flexor, this one, which is why I'm probably doing this. But, so that was like, I had to stop lifting kind of altogether, which was really sad. And, but at the same time, that's like kind of when we started Iya Terra. So it was like, it was like something meaningful that, you know, I could get my mind off of not being able to do that, you know? So it was like,
kind of another door opened. Like what made you want to start a reggae band, like of all things?
I think I want to say it was on my 21st birthday again. Like I went with Cam, we went to go see Revolution in Vegas.
Oh, wow.
And, we came back, and I don't exactly know why, dude. I put out an ad on Craigslist because I think it was like, I was playing in a band at the time, and it was just like a rock band. And I was like, you know, like I live in the city now. Like I grew up in Acton. I have a car. I have a bass. Like I go to college. I can't lift anymore. I have nothing to look forward to other, like I'm just studying all the time pretty much. Like, so why not like meet some random people and just play music?
Yeah.
Like it just seemed like the logical thing to do. Like, cause was something I'd always wish I could have done as a kid, you know, like, but I lived too far, you know, like from all these musicians or whatever. There was nobody in my town. Like you couldn't walk to anybody's house in Acton.
Yeah.
And there was like only a handful of people maybe that you could even play with. So it was like, we all played with like all 20 musicians made up like every band in the town. You know, like everybody was in like 3 bands. And I was like, this is awesome. Now I can just like put an ad on Craigslist. So probably, I played in a few bands on Craigslist, just random bands, jam with people. And then I was like, I think it'd actually be cool to like start a band, you know, like, and just make some actual songs. And, you know, that was it. Just like no real other aspirations other than that. And then after I went, saw that the Revolution show on my 21st birthday, I was like, all right, I think it'd be cool to start a reggae band. Yeah. Cause like I'd listened to reggae music probably since like time I was 15 or 16. And so it was like, at that point in my life, it was like much more something I could vibe to, you know, I didn't like listen to as much heavy metal. This stuff was mostly all just listening to reggae by that point. So yeah. Wow. It was nice. I was just like, I'm going to just go. By this
point too.
Yeah. That was so random too. Like, because I always played guitar and, it was always like such a hard thing to find a bass player. I just always remember growing up, it was like, that was the hardest thing to find. Yeah. You could always find a drummer, could always find a guitar player, could never find a bass player. Yeah. So it's like, I'm going to just start playing bass.
Dude, that's the story of like so many bands. Like,
I don't know why, dude. It was like no real thought into it other than that. It was just like, I'm going to do this because we never find it, you know, like I'm going to do it. The job nobody wants to do.
Well, man, here we are, dude. What a trip.
And I'm happy I did because I think now looking at it, I think bass is way more interesting than guitar, you know? And if I played a melodic instrument, I'd play something like a horn or a flute or something, you know, like.
But in reggae, like it's interesting because bass kind of is the melodic instrument. I feel like in reggae, guitar is almost more of like a drum or a percussion kind of thing, you know? Whereas reggae or like bass is like the melody, like that's like everything, you know, bass and drums,
and then vocal and then bass. But yeah, it's kind of the connector between the rhythm and the melody, right? Yeah, like, it's the only thing that kind of does both. Yeah, I mean everything kind of can, but like consistently,
yeah. Bass is like half rhythm, half melody, which is like I don't know, it's interesting, man. But that's pretty cool. So then Iya Terra started. This is like 2013.
Yeah. Wow. So that was like probably my 3rd year in college. Started in 2010. And then, did that and managed to finish college. And then we were playing a lot of shows, I think, even the 2nd year. And the 1st year, we were jamming a lot. We were jamming like every week. Yeah. I think we practiced every week for like even probably from like 2013 to like 2019, I think we like hit like almost every week. We never missed like a week, for like 6 or 7 years. I think that's why we're just so tight and polished, you know?
Yeah. Wow.
And I think we started consistently touring right after graduate, like 2015 or 16. Right when that Fortunate tour.
Yeah. Luis was telling some stories from the Link Up tour on the podcast last time.
The Link Up tour. Oh man, dude. That was like probably the most fun tour. That was the most innocent tour. Everything was a little more serious after that one, but that holds such a special place. That was like the launching pad, you know. Yeah. It's like where nobody else believes in you at that point. So it's like. You know, they say if you just gotta put yourself on. At that point, like by any means necessary.
Like with Iya Terra, like when did you kind of realize like we're serious about this? Like this is gonna be like my life, you know? It sounds like you kind of started and it was just like we're just gonna jam and you know see what happens. Like when did those tables kind of turn?
I think maybe it was the point where I think maybe it was different for everybody, but even for me, I think once we had to get rid of Alex as our first drummer and got Blake because Alex couldn't go on like a 2 or 3 day tour, and we're like, all right, we got like a few weeks at a time now booked.
Yeah.
And like we're getting festival offers and stuff. I was like, all right, no looking back now.
Yeah.
Like, there's like all in, you know.
Dang.
It was just like that. Because it was like, if it's coming to the point where it's like people are having to like, we're having to choose like that way, you know, it was like, all right, this guy can't go away for 2 or 3 days now. So it's like this and that. And like we're getting more offers slow, you know, day by day. It's like, all right, that was it, you know?
Yeah.
So I think probably after like even the first year and a half, because then, dude, I mean, people made big commitment and life changes, you know. It was like,
yeah, you
know, we added Blake and then got rid of our first drummer, and then Luis came out, moved out here like 6 months later, and then Focus moved out, you know, so it was like people would displace their lives. Yeah. So it was like, there's no looking back shortly after these.
That's what trips me out. It's like, how did you guys know, you know, like
just had this feeling, dude. I don't know what it was. There was this time where I think everything was so aligned. There was just like this sense that everybody just knew that it was like everything was in the right place and at the right time. And it was like, wow. You know, there was at that point, it was like things were just happening because we knew what we had to put, everybody had to be in the right place. And then all of those things happened. Right.
Yeah.
It was like, I don't know. There's just a sense of feeling. I don't know how to explain it, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, man. Like what advice would you have for bands in that position? Like what do you think it was that contributed to your guys' success so much, you know?
I think firstly, just making selfless choices, when you start your band, and, especially like as far as any money go you make, like put it all back towards the band, like be willing to like listen to ideas from people and like find the right ones. I think like find people that you can be friends with on or off the court, so to speak, you know, and don't just pick people in a band because they're just like this kind of player, that kind of player, you know?
Yeah.
Like if you're trying to do it like that, you know, like you want to be friends first.
Yeah. That's kind of like,
that's crucial.
Yeah. Like that's where like the feeling comes from, maybe like what you were saying,
the
where
brotherhood.
Like, yeah. Bands are such an interesting dynamic, and like, I don't know.
There was no forcing it at that point. It was like, we wanted to hang out and be with each other.
Yeah.
It was like, it's like, if you could choose anything else to do, it's like, no, we didn't want to be with any other people, you know, like this is all, you know. And I feel like once certain things happened here or there and certain like prophecies were fulfilled, so to speak, it was like people didn't need to be in that time or place anymore. You know, things changed, but so to speak, when everybody was so aligned to want one thing and their eyes were on the same prize, so to speak, that's how easy it was to happen, you know?
Yeah. Dude, what were like some of the visions or goals that you guys had for the band, and like hitting some of those things? Like what were some of those like special moments? Or
I don't think like, well, going into it, I don't think I had any aspirations, you know, I had no aspirations going into it. So everything was like huge, like plus for me. Like, but, dude, like just, I think we already kind of touched on it, but I think obviously touring the country and like all the people we got to meet and all the lives we've touched, but I think just the music, knowing how far it's really gone, and that's like really the most gratifying thing, man. Like, you know, and knowing that the mark we made in like whatever time we put like at that, in those years, like I wouldn't ever take a second back of it, and I can like stand behind all of it. Like that to me is more important than like trying to just spin the wheels, you know, to like make things happen, because there's bands out there, like big ones, that just spin the wheels to like bring in the money. And it's just like seeing it on that side of it, it's just like, I would never want to do that. It's just like, I don't know.
Spin the wheels, you mean just kind of like,
it's just like kind of like deal with all the bullshit, never fix problems and like interpersonal problems, you know, and like people, there's like some people really bad addicts, like just people like just all kinds of crazy shit that happens that's not like normal, like that's not maybe is normal, but nothing's normal, but it's not healthy at all for like long term, like longevity sake in relationships. And people will just put up with that kind of shit just for the paycheck or just to keep things happening as normal, you know, because it's easier to like do what you already know. And then I feel like you lose that kind of feeling, like we were talking about, like the brotherhood part of it, or like wanting to make the same kind of music, or like be on the same vibe with everything. It's like, yeah, I would rather keep it where it was and have that and know that it was all meant what it meant than to just be fake about it, you know?
I see. Yeah. So like, yeah, it's like almost like the heart is gone, you know, with in a group where like maybe they don't have that connection anymore, but they're still kind of like touring and playing the music because it's like, well, you know, we got to like, you know, make the money and all this stuff. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, having that bond is like the primary thing.
So it's kind of tough because at the end of the day, you don't really worry about that kind of stuff in a normal job, like, you know, or in a lot of jobs. Like it's kind of just black and white. But like when you're making something that your music is like you're expressing emotions and you're like adding feeling and all of that into it, like things are different. Like if people are pissed at each other, it's gonna like be obvious, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
and you're all making something together too, you know, and like trying to.
If you're not making it together, it's gonna sound fragmented.
Yeah.
Right? You know, like yeah.
Yeah. Dude, do you have any like favorite Iya Terra songs or like stories behind some songs that you guys came up with?
There's so many good ones.
Yeah, or even like lyrics or something, you know.
Man, for me, my favorite record that we always made was Sacred Sound. Yeah, and that was like, I wish looking back at it now we even documented it like better, because that was, I think the feeling and vibe in that one's so good, because though it was recorded very sporadically, it was all recorded on tour.
Oh, really?
So we were on tour, like basically we recorded our first EP and then Full Circle at the studio in Castaway in Ventura.
Yeah.
JP. Shout out JP. And then we kind of all like learned to use Logic and stuff and had started to record. And we're like, wow, this is awesome. You know, like we can like kind of get all our ideas exactly how we want them, and we're not like on the clock. Like we're all broke. So it was like at that, you know, like especially at that time. So it was like we could, you know, kind of dial things in, get things really nice. And then we're like, wow, this actually sounds pretty good. Like maybe we'll try sending this out to like a few engineers or whatever. And I think we sent one to, I always forget his name. It's the guy that mixes some tracks for 10 Foot Ganja Plant. He was one of them. That we sent some to Tippy from Zion I Kings, you know, Tippy.
Oh, sweet, man. Yeah.
That was like back in the day when he mixed like Beauty for Ashes, and we're like, oh, we love this record. Man. So, but I think in the end we just like, we ended up going with Ian, because I think we just wanted more reverb on everything, you know, like I think all the other guys were too dry, and Ian just, he's a great engineer.
Yeah, he'll give you reverb for sure.
Yeah, no, he just has like such a good ear too. Like he knows, he's got such a good sense of the sound, you know. So, that record was just recorded on tour, and
wow,
it's so special to me because all the other ones, I mean, have a different story, but that one is like us figuring out how to be producers together. Yeah, and like have to like make there was like selfless moments where it's like, all right, this guy's going to play keys now, or this guy's going to play bass now, or this guy's going to play, and we're just like letting each other do each other's jobs kind of sometimes, and like letting people, you know, take the driver's seat and stuff. And it was cool. You know, I really think it was like a really awesome way to make a record, you know? And it kind of, there's there's some disfragment. Like I listen back into it and like some of the mixes are kind of like different because we put this song out and then this song out and this song out.
Yeah.
Like, so it's kind of like jumbled in that sense, but there was some organicness to it. Like how there's like some organic magic in a studio. Sometimes it was like us just being on the road. And like, that was like what we had to look forward to every day is like, we're whipping out like some in just the studio and just like working on the record together. And yeah.
Dude, I didn't even know that that's how you guys went about that it was just recorded like on the road like that. But it makes sense.
Only Iya record to, I think, hit number 1 on the Billboard.
Wow.
And that was before we had management.
Dang, dude. Yeah, or you guys were still with Rude Entertainment at the time?
That I don't really exactly remember where the in between happened, but yeah, like Broody, I think it was more so just like booking, like he was just booking shows really at that point, and it was like everything was pretty independent at that time, you know, like I mean with the limited resources that everybody had. But yeah, Rudy was definitely getting us some gigs around here and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, like as far as pushing music, like we had nobody pushing the music. We had like no marketing, like nothing. Like,
yeah, it was just handing out CDs and stuff.
Literally.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that was, there's magic to be found in, but I think the common denominator in it was like everybody was like loving that so much, you know?
Yeah.
Not only the music part of it, but the production part of it too.
Yeah.
You know?
I feel like even someone like today, like if I were to look on Spotify, someone like the most popular songs would like be from that record.
I think a lot of them. Yeah. No, oddly enough, I don't know why some of the EP ones are up top, but I think a lot of those, if there was any ones I could probably like listen to front to back, that's like always the one I would pick. I don't know why.
Yeah.
It's just, there's other good songs too. You know, I think Rainbow Road, that was the one that you played on, right?
Yeah.
That was on Coming to Light, right?
Yeah.
That was on Coming to Light. Yeah. That one's really fun because that song, that was one that I didn't think we were going to use as a song. That song wasn't going to make the record because it wasn't that good of a song until you put your horns on it. Like this is like kind of a cool vibe, but it needs something. And yeah. So that's another one of my favorite songs because of that music video too. Shout out Quinn Murdy.
Yeah.
That's like, that was like probably my favorite video I think we did.
Oh man, that's awesome. That's so I remember when I first recorded that song, I remember Nathan was saying like, it's like, yeah, we were going to like throw this song away. I thought he was just kidding, but
no, he's serious because it was, I mean, not that it was like boring, but it just needed more depth, depth, I guess, you know, and you nailed it.
Oh man, that was such a cool one.
What other ones did you play on too?
That one, Ganja Must Burn.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah. I think those may have been the only two.
Yeah.
At least like on the album. Like live, obviously we did some different ones, but
not Ford's Bound?
No, that was Steel Pulse.
That was Steel Pulse.
Yeah.
You're right. Yeah.
Yeah, dude. But
that was a special feature. That was one of the coolest songs and things we ever did too. I think that was definitely like a bucket list favorite. Like,
yeah, dude, that's so rare to have like a Steel Pulse feature. Like how many bands can say they have a Steel Pulse feature? You know?
That was the biggest process of getting a feature ever, dude. Like there was like a few long ones that took a long time, but that one was like, well, Omlock was like pretty quick, and Someone was pretty quick, and then the horns they took a good bit, but then like getting Hines on it took an extra minute, like an extra 8 months, 9 months or something, you know. Wow. There's like a lot of back and forths.
Yeah.
We really appreciate that.
Oh man. Worth the wait for sure.
For sure. And we have a bunch of content filmed for a music video that we filmed the whole thing. We just need one or two more scenes from,
dude. Do you get the AI to like finish it off, bro?
Because we have all the Steel Pulse's parts. We did it at Cali Vibes, and we never thought we even got David to do it. You know, like that was really cool. But yeah, we have some other things in the way of that. You know?
Well, that's how it goes.
But maybe that'll see the light of day. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, it's new coming to light. Yeah. But yeah, man, that's awesome, dude. Those are some beautiful moments, man. And I guess to like wrap up Iya Terra, like what is I don't know if you can even boil it down to like one thing, but like, what is your like impression that you're left with? Like looking back on Iya Terra, like what is like the biggest lesson you learned, or like things that you're like, I don't know, how did it shape you as a person, you know, or like,
yeah,
I don't even know if that's too broad of a question, but like, I guess like reflecting back on it, you know?
I think just remembering to love what you do.
Yeah.
And like, if you love what you do, like anything is possible. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, dude. Yeah, I guess like you said,
life becomes so much easier when you like love what you do. And if you're fortunate enough to find people that you can do it with, like that love it just as much, some really cool stuff can happen, you know?
Yeah.
Like I look at one band that's done it well, and I feel how much they love playing when I watch them, is Lettuce.
Yeah.
You know, and they've been a band for a long time.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, they're incredible, man.
Perfect example. And it's like, when I look at them, it's like they all love playing music, and they all love their band, and they all love the people in the band, you know, like, because I see them support each other. And I'll even go to like Break Science shows, and like that's the solo side project of Adam Deitch, their drummer. And I'll see like Jesus there, other members just like supporting at the side project show and stuff, you know. And it's like,
that's that brotherhood.
They're brothers, yeah. And that never went away for them. And I think that, that's a big reason why Lettuce is Lettuce, you know.
Yeah, that's a beautiful message, man. Like, love what you do. And I think, yeah, it makes sense now. Like when you said that when you first started this thing, like you had really like no intentions with other than just to go and have fun and like, and to love what you do. Yeah. And I feel like that love, like,
it's hard really to distill any further,
man.
Than that, you know, because it sounds so stupid and simple, but it's like love what you do with no strings attached, I guess, you know. And it's just like
no expectations,
just do it for the love, you know.
Yeah.
Which is actually the next song, the next PORCH track that's coming out, you know. And I feel like that's why I kind of made that the song title and message of that track, was like that reminder for that, you know. It was like, and really that song's pretty much done. I was like trying to set myself, going to like new PORCH stuff. So we did how many singles? Put out the Wub Style single with Amp Live in October, and then the Price You'll Pay remix in December.
Yeah.
And then the Tibi Blanco with Skillinja in February. And then we put out our track, Pela Pela, in March. March.
Something like that, yeah.
And then I think in beginning of May, I put out Drug Mule with Esh. And then I wanted to put out Do It For The Love in the middle of next month, but we just haven't filmed the video yet, and I really want to film a video for it.
Yeah, dude, that song is so good.
Wes has just been really busy with the Shaka Man, this video. We did this Roll With Me video. It's almost done. But I really want to have Wes do it, and so I've kind of like been waiting on that, and I'm kind of like, it's okay. I'm like okay with the fact I'm not putting it out. I'm just going to be like, all right, I'll just wait a few more weeks or whenever it's ready. You know, I put out a lot of singles, so it's fine. You know, I was kind of like bummed at myself because I was like, I said I was going to put out like a single every 6 weeks, like all year. And I was just like, it's all right, dude. You're only human. You're not a machine, you know?
You've only put out like a million other things too, like with Shaka and like and the sample pack that you're working on. Dude, you're you're doing a lot, man. And
I got to remind myself, it's all right to just slow down sometimes, or, you know, take a little extra time.
Yeah,
you know?
man.
Like, I don't know. I'm hard on myself sometimes, like on deadlines like that. And I don't know why. I shouldn't really be, you know?
Yeah, man. I'm kind of the same way sometimes. And like, sometimes I'll feel like, it's like, I'm falling behind, you know, like what's going to happen if I don't like do this then or whatever. But it's just kind of like, you just got to chill sometimes.
I mean, you got to do it for like, do you want to rush it, or you want to just make it the best it can be?
Yeah.
You know? But there's a balance. You don't want to like, there's a saying, perfectionism is procrastination. So like being a perfectionist, sometimes you can be a procrastinator.
Yeah.
Like,
it's a hard line to walk, man. But I love what you said about like, just remembering at the core of it, it's like about the love, you know, and like,
just doing it for if you had anything you could do, any multiplicity of things you could do. You had all the money in the world or none of the money in the world, and you could just do anything. That's it, you know. If you can make, you know, like that will bring you the ultimate joy, I guess.
Yeah.
That's not saying that's what you should do for a profession or a job or whatever, but which is kind of like in my nowadays, like the way I look at it is, if being a musician or making music is like a lifelong goal, I think providing means to that is more important than making money off of music. You know, finding other ways to make money to enable yourself to make music. Though you might make money from music, like my Porch stuff, I've never taken any money from that still. Cause like, granted it's not that much, but I don't need it like that in a sense, but I'd rather just like leave that at the equation, you know, like, and kind of just like put it out cause I enjoy making it, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, man. Yeah. The joy of like creating music, man. So
yeah. Just getting lost in that like a little kid, you know?
Yeah.
I think nowadays, like people like, especially once you cross in the line of being like an artist or musician, yeah, we like hold ourselves to like so many society standards, you know? It's like, you gotta like put yourself in that like 6-year-old, 5-year-old version of yourself again, you know?
Yeah. Back to the handbells, dude.
Back to the handbells.
You weren't stressing about money with the handbells, dude. You were just vibing.
No, it was just like, yeah, for the fun of it. I mean, even when we started Iya Terra, dude, it was the same thing. It was like, I had no aspiration to ever, you know, make a dime off of it. It was just to play music with people. We're like, we want to make cool songs and like, I don't know. Yeah. I think that's really important.
Yeah, man.
You know?
Well, I think that's a good thing to wrap on, man. Like, I think that's something that everyone can keep in mind too. Like, you know, preserving like the love for it and taking that into everything you do, man.
Yeah.
No matter what it is.
No matter what it is, man. Yeah.
So, yeah, bro, I appreciate you coming on here, sharing some of your stories. Like, you're the man.
My
Porch.
pleasure.
It's good
dude.
to
You're
see
the
you.
man.
And yeah, dude, everyone be on the lookout for more stuff from Aspekt Mafia, from Porch, from all your sample packs, everything, man.
Thanks, man.
So,
thanks for having me out.
Yes, sir.
All right, that concludes today's episode. If you like what you heard, feel free to give us a follow on Instagram at Top Rankin Podcast. You can check out our Facebook page, Top Rankin Reggae, and our YouTube channel. Feel free to leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or on Spotify. And tune in next time for more interviews with your favorite reggae artists and band members. My name is Glenn Holdaway, and thank you so much for listening.